Halito, and welcome to Native Chalk Talk, a podcast by natives for all. Here we're keeping our Native ancestors' stories and history alive while also sharing with you our Native cultures, traditions, and more. I'm Rachel Youngman, a Choctaw originally from Anadarko, Oklahoma. I hope you'll enjoy this journey with me as we learn from our Native American guests. And stay tuned for the end of each episode where we'll talk about some great ways to support Native causes and or Native-owned businesses. Let's get started. But first, a word from our sponsor.
The Choctaw Nation has always provided a foundation upon which a future can be built. From our home in southeast Oklahoma to a bingo hall that grew to be one of the largest casinos in the world. Today's summer school programs lay the groundwork for a love of learning. Small business programs support local economies. And with over 10,000 jobs created, Choctaw offers financial stability to tribal members and our neighbors. Together we build success, because together we're more.
I'm here today at the First Americans Museum in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's an exciting day, y'all, because the grand opening is happening today. It's a beautiful day out. It's nice and sunny, and it is jam-packed here with so many natives and, people of all different ethnicities here to enjoy this day. So I'm here with a guest that is excited to share about what's going on here at FAM, or First American Museum. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you do here, and the exciting things going on today.
Okay, hi. Well, thank you, first of all. But my name is Welana Queton. I am Osage, Creek, and Cherokee, and I have been here at the museum for going on 6 years now.
Wow.
And I'm a Curatorial Specialist, and I have co-curated an exhibition called Winneco, Life of an Object. And it is a loan that from NMAI, National Museum of the American Indian, Smithsonian. And it represents all the 39 tribes in Oklahoma. So there's at least 3 or 4 objects for each tribe in Oklahoma. Exciting. And that is a loan, coming from NMAI. Many of these things were collected in the early 1900s. And they come from not all of them, but a large majority, come from one major collector. His name was Mark Raymond Harrington. He came through around 1908, about 1940s, and a little bit more into the 20s. He collected from all the tribes, with the exception of Cheyenne, Arapahoes, Pawnees, and Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. With that, there's kind of an underlying, story there, collecting story.
Yeah. And
so a lot of these objects are coming from that collection. So they are coming from Oklahoma, and they, ones belong to our ancestors. For some people, great-great-grandparents. Others, 3 grades, 4 grades.
Wow.
But, and then we have another aspect within that, too, that we have created a reunion for some of these families and these objects. And you can see that on some of the labels in the exhibition. We'll have a photo of the person who once owned it, who sold it to Mark Raymond Harrington. And then we'll have a picture of their descendants today.
Wow, to have all of that information and that data is, kind of rare. So that's super exciting.
It is. Yeah, those collection notes, actually. Mark Raymond Harrington took really great notes, luckily for us today.
Yes.
There's names attached to this, who he bought from, who he purchased from. Mm-hmm. And they had the price, actually, on it. How much he, purchased it for. And a lot of times he would have the name of that object in that language, too. Just so he phonetically, could spell it. So we started with this project, actually, with this exhibition, with that, looking at those archives, and that's all it.
Wow.
From NMA, that's the Harrington Lake Archive.
So there's all these notebooks that say Smithsonian and then the date or the information on each one.
So when you go upstairs, it is in 3 different parts or themes, I'd like to say. The first one is creation, and there's the color in the background of the cases that's supposed to represent dawn, the colors of dawn. And then if you look at the cases, it is a dark blue color, and it's a really gorgeous color, and that's supposed to represent our cosmological world. Yeah. So what we're trying to create there, and the casework too is all circular. Yeah. And the space, it's circular around space, and we're trying to kind of create that little microcosm of our world that we live in. And so
beautiful.
And the creation is dawn. kind of symbolic for new day, creation. A lot of things happen for our Native people at dawn. It's a really kind of powerful spiritual time. So I thought that worked well.
Oh, absolutely.
Me and our curatorial team kind of developed that. Then the middle part is collecting. And so that is very contrasting with creation and continuum. Creation space is square and very black and white. And we were trying to, that was intentional, to create a very institutional feel.
Okay.
Kind of making that comparison of, our objects really should be in a cultural context manner, or even in the space, even if it is still behind a case. But then, we also wanted to talk about Harrington, how these things got collected.
Yeah.
Why do people sell these things? Because that's a really big question. But there was a lot of things going on at that time in the early 1900s.
Oh, a lot.
A lot, we were just got removed from a lot of our homelands. A lot of our culture was getting lost. There was acculturation,
the missionaries.
Missionary work, Christianity, so much going on.
So
a lot of socioeconomic factors.
Much less 1907 when the
right
came
after statehood.
So much.
So
a lot of unrest.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that was such an interesting time. Interesting, for lack of a better word. I'm sure that Indians, the Native Americans here, were trying to figure out how to get along with the other tribes that they've been put into a bucket with here in Indian Territory, now Oklahoma. And then also the white settlers coming in. It's like, oh, here's your land. Oh, wait a minute. Now we have these other people coming in.
Yes.
Can't even imagine.
And not only are we going to take your land, but we're going to come through here as collectors and take all your objects,
And some of those sacred objects.
It runs parallel.
Interesting.
Wow. That's what was interesting about seeing all these archives, reading these names.
I know, right? So I'm looking at, it says Henry Red Eagle. So this is a copy of the original.
That's kind of funny because we highlight a coat that he purchased, or that Harrington purchased.
Oh, really?
It's funny that we just happened to
haven't
come on
opened
this page. I was like, oh my gosh.
So it's down there? The code is down there?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll be sure to look for that. I'll take some photos and put them on my Native Chalk Talk Facebook page as well. And then so it has Henry Red Eagle, and then it says, say Eagle Tail Fan, for instance, and then it has the Osage name beside it, and then $2. Only $2 at the time. And I'm sure that was a sacred thing, that obviously eagle feathers were sacred.
Yeah, there's a whole lot in here too that you can tell what's going on. Like some people were selling a lot of their sacred things, but that had to do with an older religion because, maybe they switched over to Christianity or say the Native American church.
Wow. Any Choctaw on there?
There is somewhere.
It's okay. There's a lot of notebooks to dig through, but I'm sure I'll see some stuff down there when we walk through the museum.
Seeing those names, like I said, I just see these people. It's like these people are still in our families. These names are still in our communities. So that's I just want the visitor to know that we are so closely related to these objects. Like this Henry Red Eagle, for instance, they still have his picture up in their family home.
Right.
Right. We're not that far removed.
Crazy.
From these people.
And their relatives are probably here today to see some of these displays.
Yes, they have been in the past few weeks and stuff.
So fascinating. And if our listeners, here's a little jingle in the back. Everyone is dressed in their regalia today. It's just absolutely beautiful to see all these different tribes together. And, they're wearing their regalia. I saw some headdresses over there. You're in this beautiful Osage regalia, you said.
Muskogee.
Sorry, Muskogee regalia.
I'm used to wearing my Osage clothes, but today
that's right,
Muskogee.
Muskogee. And so it's a beautiful flower shirt, right? And then your dress is, it's not a ribbon dress, but it's
a broadcloth.
Okay.
It's like a trade cloth.
And then the black moccasins. Did you make those? Or
my friend did.
Oh, they're beautiful. I love them.
Dressed, she's friends with many of us here, and her name was Claudia Littleaxe, and she is starting her own little company called TP Maker's Daughter.
TP Maker's Daughter.
Yes.
Everybody go check it out.
And she is. She decided to dress us today, so that's
beautiful.
Why you'll see like three of us wearing these Muskogee clothes.
I love it. It's actually the first time, believe it or not, that I've seen Muskogee regalia in person, so it's exciting for me as well. So what else do you have here at the museum that you think people should come and see?
Well, downstairs we start with the Tribal Nations Gallery. And that tells the collective story of all our 39 tribes here in Oklahoma. And we do that through a timeline, these value circles that are broken up into time periods, run parallel as well. And then we move into a living landscape where we talk about we look at our representation through art. We look at our representation through stereotypes. But then we kind of move around to something fun, and we get into a powwow van.
Oh, cool.
And we have someone narrating the powwow van, and they kind of take us to a few places in Oklahoma. As you get in the van, you go with them on this little trip.
That's cool.
And you go to different dances, just different spaces, throughout Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You maybe go to a Choctaw dance. I think Ponca Powwow is on there. You see some activities going on at Comanche Fair. So that's great. That's fun.
I'm so excited to see it all.
Another fun space is the just Indian home space. And it's kind of supposed to look like a little living room. But there's a really nice media piece there. Then it's supposed to be like the living room TV. But that also addresses stereotypes, for us, or what we kind of deal with, People think we still live in teepees, or they want to touch our hair. It addresses things like that, but in a very humorous way,
Yeah.
Light and
yes,
palatable for people,
Right, exactly.
But that's really fun, and that was actually directed by Oklahoma artist Stephen Paul Judd.
Oh my gosh, I love him. Oh, wow.
Fun video.
I love that.
And then we move into sports and games.
Stickball.
And we also have really fun activities that Rance actually helped create those activities.
Okay. Rance Wariak, one of my former guests. Okay.
They're interactives is what they are.
Fun.
You could play hand game.
Okay.
Comanche style. Or play a game of Chunky, which is an older,
nice.
Older, like kind of a pre-Columbian game as well.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, sports and games is really fun. And then we move over we give honor to our veterans and our warriors. And not only just them, but our warriors in the courtroom or, even in education,
Good point.
Make room for them. We have a veterans database. Hopefully in the future, more people will join that database, and we do have space for that to add people in there throughout the years. That's another exciting thing for our veterans. And then we are done, actually, and there's an exit experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful location, and there's a bit of a lake out there. Easy to get to, though, I noticed on our way here. It's right off the interstate. I think people are really going to enjoy this. The whole family's going to enjoy it.
Yes. I forgot one space, which is very important because it's the very beginning.
Okay.
Origins Theater.
There's so much going on.
I know, the Origins Theater.
Okay.
And that is a, not quite 360 because you have to get in there, but very, very close. Almost, very surround interactive experience that talks about 4 different people's origin stories. I believe it's the Uchis, the Caddos, Otos. Right off here.
That's okay.
I know. But anyway, that's really, really cool because it's immersive and you can sit on these big river rocks in there. And yeah, that's just one of my most beautiful spaces.
Yeah.
It's fun. And
wow.
So many things to read, many things to look at. So we understand that you'll probably have to come back.
Exactly. To see it all. There's so much.
But we want you to come back.
Absolutely. And
enjoy.
Bring the whole family because obviously there's tons of kids today here and they're having a blast downstairs. So,
so when we get that Discovery Center open, it will be actually a intergenerational space for everyone to enjoy. Not only children, but you could go through it with your grandmother.
Okay.
Now it'll actually supposed to look like a big pop-up book. That's going to be really fun.
Cute.
Different little characters and stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of, we visited the shop downstairs. And what's it called again?
The Fam Store.
Fam Store, okay. And so much good stuff in there. My sister and I actually spent more time in the kids section than anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
There's so many cute toys. So cute, yeah.
Like the log pillow.
The log pillow. Yeah, the big bear sitting there. So much cute stuff and kind of natural looking toys, as well as some native storybooks, which is great to read to your kids.
Yeah, we got one here that just came out yesterday. We have a cultural ambassador. His name is Ace Greenwood, and he wrote this children's book, and it just got put up yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So,
brand new.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Hot off the press.
Lots of representation for a lot of our Oklahoma artists.
Good.
And there will be plenty more in the future as well.
I was wondering that. We were looking at all this amazing jewelry, and I follow a lot of those jewelers on Facebook, the Native jewelers. I was curious, what percentage do you think is here local from the jewelry section?
Like local Oklahoma City or Oklahoma?
To Oklahoma in general.
Oh, probably like 99% of it.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Good. I'm so glad to hear that.
There's just that they're an Oklahoma tribe, but then maybe they live like in Santa Fe or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, still, as long as they're native, I mean, exactly, I think that's the good part about it. So
yeah, that was definitely something we've thought about in the very beginning, creating everything. Everything is very Oklahoma-centric.
And I noticed that most of the employees here are Native American, which is also great to see too.
So, curatorial team was 100% Oklahoma Native people.
Now, are you yourself? Are you from Oklahoma originally?
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
Well, and you live in Blanchard today. Where are you?
With my husband. That is not where I'm from, though.
Okay, got it.
He lived outside of Oklahoma City, or around Norman actually, and then he just got tired of that and moved to Blanchard country.
Yeah, it's a great up and coming area for sure, Blanchard.
But yeah, I'm from around Hominy, Oklahoma.
Okay,
and also Tahlequah.
I was there the other day too.
Oh, yes.
Hominy is a great town. I love it.
I kind of have 3 towns just because I'm Osage Creek and Cherokee. But I've been raised a little bit in Hominy, been raised a little bit in Tahlequah, and then we even moved to Stillwater.
Okay,
and I graduated from Stillwater High.
Okay, go Pokes.
Yeah.
So before we go, is there anything you'd like to share about your own ancestral stories or interesting things about your family?
I know that my family has helped me a lot through this exhibition.
Thank you, family.
My family are artists. My dad's a photographer. My mom is a ceramic sculptor.
Nice.
My brother's a painter. So there were even some things like while we were actually kind of creating what we wanted, and like maybe some of the casework or something,
Yeah.
Looking at the aesthetics, and I would call them. I've used my dad before for some of the photography in the exhibition because I needed a photographer.
Yeah. Nice, keeping it all in the face.
But when I come actually looking at the whole picture, it's funny because I was just thinking about this last night. Or kind of have been. It's been really emotional since these objects came from NMAI. Like I said, I've been looking at these archives and reading about this stuff for 5 years. And when these things came, it was very emotional, very powerful. And then we had these reunions, with some of these family members, such as the Red Eagle family. And listening to them talk, I realized, this exhibition that we've developed, at least for me, I can say that it's because of these words I've heard, participating in my culture, Osage culture, even my Muskogee culture. It's these words from these elders, and it's because, because I like my culture, I love my culture, and I love to be part of it, it gives me strength and spirituality, and, I know the answer to why I'm here, on Earth, I feel like, and, and it's their words that has helped create this, not just me. Wow. I have all this to thank for all my elders and my parents especially, because they pushed me into that lifestyle, and Absolutely. I took it on because I really like it. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what I would have to say about it all.
What a completing of the whole picture, because this isn't just you're a, for lack of a better word, curator here. This is part of your soul, of your being, of your history, of your family's history, of our state's history, our natives' history.
It's been a very serious project. You're just not just emotionally invested, or it's just, this is for your people.
Yeah.
You want to do your best, and you want to do the best representation possible, which includes using all of their voices and talking with them, and having those consultations, because I'm not just going to be the one to, be the deciding factor in things. They need to have that part too, and so that's what we've done. And I guess that's why it's so serious that we haven't been given that representation in the past, or those consultations, especially with a lot of non-native institutions. So it's important that we did this right, or do our best, and it can only get better in the future.
Indeed, and honestly, I've said this multiple times. I've said it on previous recordings, how a lot of times in movies and in museums, we see a lot of a certain types of tribe, which is great too. But I don't think the Plains natives have really gotten full representation the way they should. And this is 39 tribes, which is awesome because some of them were removed to here. Not all of them are Plains tribes, but I am excited to see that there are going to be some things that people have never seen before here. Oh, for my own personal information, so the Smithsonian artifacts that you said were brought over. So were those displayed at the Smithsonian Native Museum? Or
some of them, and some of them haven't been.
So they've just been sitting there.
A lot of them,
oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
A lot of this is first time back home in Oklahoma since they got collected.
Whoa.
Yes. And so that's also
huge.
part of that just very powerful and emotional, experience. Because
they've been waiting for their
yes.
home.
Exactly. That's exactly right. They have been waiting to come home.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see them. Because I'm at the first, I've just seen a few things so far. The store, a couple things, and then we're about to go into see all the archives and all of that stuff. So I'm really excited. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you want me or our folks to know?
I think we've said it all.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for this impromptu conversation.
You're
and if you
welcome.
need anything from me, I'll be sure to leave my information for you. And we all appreciate your support and help with getting the word out to our Native Chalk Talk listeners about the great stuff you're doing here.
Wonderful.
So, thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Yeah.
Potential is everywhere in the Choctaw people. It's in our schools and students. It's in our small businesses and entrepreneurs. Potential is in our lifestyle and health. It's in our culture and heritage. Passion and commitment is in our blood. Ingenuity and economy are a tradition. And the Choctaw Foundation was founded for this potential. To cultivate minds and hearts, to stimulate ideas and passions, to extend lives and improve health through education, and to preserve and promote the power of our past. The Choctaw Foundation, meeting the potential of the Choctaw people.
Thanks for listening to Native Chalk Talk. Be sure to join our community on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Simply search for Native Chalk Talk. That's Native, CHOCTALK. And check us out at nativechalktalk.com. Stay tuned for the next episode. You're going to love it. Yakoki. Thank you, my friends.